What is up, YouTube? Breezy J here, and I have another topic that I'd like to talk about. This will be uploaded the day after, so this video was made yesterday when you are watching this today. I wanted to talk about the whole PlayStation 6, and though it hasn't been officially announced yet, we all can speculate that it's coming, obviously, soon, probably 2027. Or 2028, anywhere between 2027 and 2030. Crazy how we're saying 2030 already. But come January of 2027, digital only. There will not be any more physical discs made for PlayStation. Now, so many people are so upset about that because it's about nostalgia and people want to get the physical games to keep for, nostalgia reasons. Totally understandable. And the whole digital marketing today is just absolutely insane. Think of it as digital streaming. We have Netflix, Hulu, all those digital streaming platforms. And it's literally changing the way we live our daily lives. Everything's going digital. Our entertainment is all digital. When was the last time that you have ever played an actual board game? I play that period. I do that once in a while. But before video games were as advanced as they are today, before the Sega Genesis, before the Atari 2600, board games were probably pretty popular then. Now, of course, there's so many board games out now today that a lot of people don't play them to try and learn how that game is played, and that's totally understandable because that requires a lot of reading and then so on and so forth. But let's just keep focused on the digital gaming. Now, digital gaming industry, well, not digital, but gaming industry has changed. We went from cartridges to discs, and now we're at almost the digital era. It went from regular CDs to Blu-ray and a 4K. Well, I wouldn't say 4K, but you know what I mean. Everything is going digital now ever since the online market has been seriously ramped up. And here's the thing that I have. Though having a disc drive is great, and I personally bought a disc drive myself as opposed to a PlayStation 5 with no disc drive. And the reason why I do that is because I have over 500 DVD movies in my collection that I have saved up. And I guarantee you about 85% of them I haven't even watched. That's another story. My aunt gave me a huge box full of them that had like 300 pieces in it. But anyways, a disc drive is essential to have. It replaces a DVD player for one. Conserves a lot of energy, because it's built all in one. You can play a game, you can watch a DVD movie, so on and so forth. But to lose the disc drive for future games, to go 100% digital marketing, has got a lot of people, not a little, but a lot of people really upset about that. Because one, they're thinking, well, if I buy the game, I'm not going to be able to keep the game, because once the game developer, Sony, says we're going to cut the cord, you spent $60, $70, $80 on that video game that now you will no longer have access to playing. And that's what a lot of people are saying, and I'm not entirely sure how that all works, because I have digital games on my PlayStation 3. And that was the moment there that I transitioned from an actual disc game to digital video games. And I will say that anything that I had purchased stays on my in the purchase section. So even if I was offline, I could still download it and play it. Now, of course, you wouldn't be able to play online, and I have games that are no longer in no longer able to support them. And like for example, I have for PlayStation 3 Unreal Tournament 3. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Unreal Tournament 3 is a video game from Unreal Software, the creators of Fortnite. Before Fortnite used to be Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament 3 is not supported anymore, so you can't even play multiplayer on it, but I can still play the story or whatnot. Or I could do an offline private match, whatever, against bots and another player with another controller. And again, that's digital. Now I have a few other games on there that are digital too that I can still play. Perhaps not online, but I still have the game. Now I would imagine it goes the same as on here because I have I've had PlayStation 1 through 5. I have them all except the whole Pro series. I just get one base console and I stick with it. And to be honest with you, people have issues with their consoles. I still have my original ones. I've never had an issue with any of my PlayStations. And I'm a very, very heavy player. I use a lot of it. And I have a PlayStation. I use my PlayStation 4. I still got all my digital games on there, and that's when I really transitioned to digital games, was when I hit the PlayStation 4. I probably have maybe 4 or 5 PlayStation 4 disc games, physical games, in my cabinet. Everything else is digital. But even and I know some of them are still active and all that, like Call of Duty and all that, but still, you can still play. If I were to disconnect the Wi-Fi or internet off my game, I could still go in and I can download, or if I already have a download, I could still play those games. I don't have to be online. Another thing is the whole PlayStation Plus membership. I never was really in agreement when they started doing that. Back in the PlayStation 3 days, it was an option. PlayStation 4 is when it became a requirement. PlayStation 3 was its debut, but like I said, it was optional, and you got benefits if you were to have it, like discount, free games every month, which they still do that now to this day. But it was the fact that it was the option. Now we're paying what, $12 a month or $99 a year if you just have the essential, which is like the lowest and basic PlayStation Plus. And a lot of people are upset, and I still don't like the idea that you have to pay to play online when you're paying your internet bill to be able to go online. And the reason why that they do that is to prevent hackers. Because I've seen a decrease in it since the PlayStation 3 days. The PlayStation Plus prevents, hackers from taking over. I guess, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I think that's why they started doing that. But I believe they really started doing that truly originally because Xbox was doing that with their Game Pass or whatever they call it. or Xbox Gold or Platinum or Silver or whatever. That's what they called it then. And I don't know. I'm not an Xbox fan. I don't know if they still call that now. But I don't understand the whole membership of that. Like I said, I don't know. But as for the whole physical disc being retired, I think it could be a good or a bad thing. The bad thing is like I said, I use a lot of the time my PlayStation 5 as a DVD player so that I can watch DVDs in it, so that I can put in a CD and listen to my music or whatever. I used to use streaming platforms. I don't use that. I have a VC box, which I can watch anything I want. But the whole purpose of having a disc drive is to play video games or watch movies or listen to music, as it was already made to be since PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 1 couldn't support DVD movies, but was able to support music. And so the problem, a lot of people are ending their, a lot of the PlayStation fan base is ending their PlayStation Plus because they don't like the fact that the disc drive is going to be retired along with physical discs. And I get the whole nostalgia thing, but you got to think of it this way. When was the last time that you had purchased a DVD? When was the last time that you actually purchased a physical video game? Except for, like Grand Theft Auto 6 or the collector's editions of Call of Duty or whatever. I don't think a lot. Well, Grand Theft Auto 6 obviously is a digital only purchase, but I think that's where we're technically headed, is just the digital marketing realm. And that's why they're phasing out physical copies, because the purchase of physical copies is a heck of a lot lower than digital games. And we don't know what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years now. PlayStation 5, Xbox, I think Xbox is going on to a different console. I don't even know if they're going to be having an Xbox, a new generation Xbox. I think they're going to a completely different console. They're going to be rebranding that and changing that all around. So who knows? And the thing is, I feel like PlayStation not only let down a lot of their fans, but people are not happy. Their fan base is not happy whatsoever. And I don't blame them. But the statistics are there, though. If you look at the physical purchases, are way less than the digital purchase, and I could be the one to blame that. I would rather not have to leave to go to a video game store and hoping they have it in stock, rather than just going on the PlayStation, purchasing it. Boom! I already got my game. I don't have to leave. I don't have to worry about whether they got it or not, and so on and so forth. We live in a whole different world now compared to where we were at 10, 15 years ago. Everything is going digital. And who knows, PlayStation, from what I'm seeing, you could play, I have a Sony TV and you can actually play video games on it now. You can literally link up your PlayStation controller to your TV, which automatically connects, because if you have a Sony TV, which I do, I'm a very big supporter of Sony. I have a Sony TV. I have every single PlayStation. base console. I've never bought an Xbox. I did get an original Xbox for Christmas one year, but that was when I um, first. That was way before I got my PlayStation 3. But I never really liked the controllers for the Xbox. But anyways, back on the PlayStation. You got, and I'm not the only one that is a big supporter. You know, a lot of changes that Sony makes is either good or bad, and them removing the physical disc drive from their PlayStations is bad. Because, like I said, a lot of people, like myself, uses that to watch DVDs or throw in a CD to listen to music of their, favorites. So you don't have to go through Spotify and whatever. It's all right there. You don't have to listen to ads or whatnot. That's the bad part. And if when it's all digital, it might be good. It might be good. Xbox, I think they said they're going to keep it. That's just their discs are going to have a thing where you can download it onto the your console rather than it being played off of a disc. And I think they're doing that because it's a lot easier to fix stuff right before. And that's another reason. So let's say Modern Warfare 4 is coming out, right? What if the day before it releases they find this bug, right? They find this serious bug that affects players from playing the game. You have a solid physical disk drive that you get it maybe that day or a day early or whatever. You stick that in, doesn't play, and then you're going to be really upset, and then you're going to want a refund. Well, the digital, they could easily just send an update right then and there, boom, and then it's fixed before you even download it, before you even insert that disc. I think it's pretty cool thing, but for them to remove the physical disc drive is a bad idea, and I really hope they would reconsider not. I don't care too much about the disc drive, them retiring the PlayStation discs, but they got to do what they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And if you're opposed to that, then keep voicing your opinions, because they'll get through eventually. But as far as them removing the actual disc drive, probably not really a good idea, because then people are going to have to buy a DVD player, or they're just going to go to a whole different console or go to a whole different way of getting their gaming. Think of it as a PC. You could still buy discs, but I think, a lot of people that play only use Steam, and Steam's a digital video game store, like the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store, or whatever they call it. Really, discs are becoming irrelevant. And they've been around for a very long time. We're in 2026. Like, we got to get over the whole game discs, and we got to get over the discs in general, because how do you think people felt about VHS tapes? How do you think people felt about going to CDs from a floppy disk? Or what are those, Amtrak discs or whatever they're called? I don't know what they're called. Cassette tapes. How do you think people felt about going from cassette tapes to a CD? It's just something to think about, that we are just like our grandparents were, or how our parents were, or great grandparents were. Evolution and change. The very first TV came out. How do you think people felt about it being in color? And that was probably a pretty cool thing, but it's a completely different change. And it's a change that none of us are used to. We're not going to like it. They probably didn't like it either. But they got over it. We're going to get over it. Just keep voicing. They need to keep the disc drive for the sake of, I mean, it functions as a DVD player, music player, a CD player, and a video game machine. And unfortunately, we're at that age where CDs and DVDs are becoming extinct. We don't know what's next. Well, we do know what's next, and nobody wants to deal with it, and that's digital media. YouTube is like that. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify. Everything is going digital. And this is the world that we live in. Smartphones change. Look at AI becoming crazy. I could take a picture of me right now and have them put me on a beach, and it literally does just that. And we're just living in a world that is changing so fast that none of us can keep up with. The majority of us. I'm okay with the whole digital AI and all that. I can distinguish what's fake and what's not. All I say is don't remove a disk drive from the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 rather. Make it an option, because like I said, people want to watch movies when they're not wanting to play video games. And some people can't afford digital streaming, Netflix and all that other stuff. So to be able to have that option, hey, let's watch a DVD, whoop, put it in, no ads, no nothing. I think removing it from the PlayStation is a bad idea. 22 minutes in, and I'm going to end this on that note. Leave in the comments how you feel about it. I know a lot of people were mad and upset about them discontinuing the discs in physical copies. But how do you feel about them removing the disc drive completely for the PlayStation 6 if they choose to do? I don't know if they confirm that or not, but with the discontinuation of the CD, I would imagine they were going to discontinue the CD disc drive as well. So keep me, follow me, subscribe, comment, share your thoughts. I'd like to see and hear from you how you feel about all of it. See you then. Goodbye for now. Have a good day.